Hi, I get asked a lot how to use the AutoTrader with the bias filter. So this video is just going to demonstrate that a little bit. Um, Let me open the AutoTrader, use the AutoTrader 1. Okay, so basically what you see here is the AutoTrader, and we have the stochastics crossover system that gives us, the long and the short arrows. And across here, this blue line is a moving average. And I'll talk about the moving average in just a second. The basic, very, very basic configuration for the AutoTrader, it gets a long signal, which we're going to use the stochastics signal for the long signal. And then we're going to use the stochastics cell for the short signal. And under this, let's put this contracts 1, enter on bar close, and this will be a market entry. And um, let's click support reversals and use attached orders. Open the trade window. I'm just going to configure this quickly. So it's a 10 tick target, 10 tick stop. And if I am to run this configuration, what we'll see is that it takes long and short signals throughout here. Okay, so let's look at that for a second. Let's just run it, let's say, from here. I'll run a replay. Let's speed it up a little. Okay, enable this. Trade. Show order fills. Bring it to the middle. And I think everything else looks okay. Yeah. Speed this up even more. And wait for our first arrow. Okay, so the bar closed and we got our first trade and we're long. And let's let this do some more. I'm going to speed this up even some more. Right, so now we had a short trade. So now we reversed. So now we're short one. And as you can see, I mean, what will happen now is it'll just be taking all these arrows, long and short, no matter what. Okay, and that's just a basic configuration. So now imagine that you have these arrows, right? You have these signals, one long and the other short, and you decide that you want some condition, which what we call a bias, whether you're currently long biased or short biased based on some um, condition. Now, generally you can do this manually by selecting long only, short only, and long and short, which will tell the AutoTrader to only take um, long signals in this case or short signals in this case. That's one way of doing this. And this is a manual direction, right? It's a manual bias. There's also a way to set up in a more automated bias, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate right now. So let's stop the replay. Let's get this out of the way. Let's clear all the trades. Okay. Now in this demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate that we're only going to be taking um, long signals when we're above, when price is above the moving average, and short signals when it's below the moving average. Okay, so this is going to be a trend following type of entry where we're going to be entering short on a bar like this. We won't be taking any of these long trades. We'd still be taking these short trades and so on. So we only go short when the price is below the moving average and only go long when it's above the moving average, which is, a very common type of bias type of filter. And the way to set that up, there's many ways to do this, but I will set it up using the spreadsheet just to demonstrate this. So I will go to here and I will create a spreadsheet. You know what? Before doing that, I'll explain this. Is the study itself has what's called a bias filter reference, okay, which is a reference to a subgraph. And the way this works is when the bias is enabled, if that subgraph has a value of 1, it means that we are currently in a long bias. If the subgraph has a value of -1, we are in a short bias. Okay, so we only take short signals. And if it's 0, we're neutral. We don't take long and we do not take short. Actually, it's not 1 and -1, it's positive and negative. So as long as it's positive, it'll take long trades, and as long as it's negative, it'll take short trades. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a small subgraph. I'll use the spreadsheets to create a subgraph that will output 1 whenever price is above the moving average, output -1 whenever price is below the moving average. I'll then hook up that subgraph to the bias reference in AutoTrader, and then we'll run a replay again, and we'll see that it only takes short trades when we're below and only takes long trades when we're above. Okay? So let's get started. I'll go here, look for the spreadsheet study, this one. Yeah, just give it a name, demo 2. Okay, so we got this. I'll go here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to enter a condition here. I'm going to go equals if E3, which is the last price, is greater than, what's the moving average? The moving average is AA. So if the last price E3 is greater than A3, which means we're above the moving average, give it a 1. Otherwise, a -1. Okay? So this is a very simple formula which will output 1 whenever we're above the moving average. Otherwise, it'll output -1. Okay? Going back to the chart, let's go here and refresh things. Okay? So we can see that it's kind of, you can see it's working here. To make this more visual, we can go into the spreadsheet study and the K column. Let's make this based on plus minus. Make it blue when it's positive, red when it's negative, and let's make this a bar. Increase the width. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. So we can see that the subgraph that we just created, which is telling us, where we are in reference to the MA, is red whenever we're below. Okay, so it's all red through here. Here we kind of touched it, or close, just nearly above it. So you can see that it's blue in this area. Here it's red again. Up here there was a period we were above the moving average, so it was blue, and so on. Okay. Here there are many bars that were. So all right, we would have filtered out all these trades here and so on. Okay, so that's basically that. Once we have this subgraph, we can go into the AutoTrader and tell it to use that subgraph as a bias filter. So I go here and I'll go to the spreadsheet, and this is the K column, it's the one we just configured. And I have now the bias filter reference. Once I do that, I can go back to the AutoTrader and tell it to use the longest short is going to be determined by the reference, by the bias filter reference thingy. Okay, so now we can do something like this. Let's say that we run this area. Okay, from here we should see that it skips all these green trades and it only takes that short trade going down. Okay, so let's replay this again. All right, so a long trade skipped it because we're red down here. didn't close with the red arrow. Another green one, skipped it. Okay, so now the bias was red and short, so we did take this short signal, right? We skipped all these ones and so on. It would have been the opposite for, on the long side. Great, I think that's about it. I hope this makes sense, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.